What is up, y'all? This is Marley of DonkeyJawProjects.com, and this is a live stream. And today we're going to talk about making art without judgment. This is going to be kind of Siri. I always press the Siri button by accident. Um, Maybe not so short, maybe not so sweet. We'll see. Just trying to pull up my notes real quick because I did want to make sure I caught on to a couple things. All right, here we go. So, lately I've been kind of in a funk, I guess. I've been working, doing my thing, making art, and being really busy in life. And it's been good, but it's been trying as well. I've been frustrated a lot as well. And it just kind of is what it is. It's fine. But I've also been a little frustrated with art that I've been making because, and this kind of could go in the category of imposter syndrome and things like that. But it's kind of, I feel like imposter syndrome isn't quite what it actually is. Basically, I feel like sometimes I feel like I'm not having fun doing art, or I'm not, and it's not all about fun, but I'm not. I feel like sometimes I've gotten worse at art, not better. I look at some of my old drawings, and sometimes I'm like, there was something there, and then I look at my new stuff, and it's like, where's the soul? Where's the passion? Um, and it's not always the case, but sometimes I feel like that, and it's just frustrating because I'm not trying to do life empty. I'm not trying to be meaningless in my work. Um, and it's really frustrating when it feels like maybe that's what's going on. And also, I just haven't been able to put out as much work as I'd like. Um, and I was just thinking, I'm still trying to figure out exactly what it is. And I was thinking that maybe part of the issue is kind of this thing where it's like, maybe there's too much judgment. Maybe I'm just judging myself too harshly. And you know, I just try to. It makes me think back to days and times when I did enjoy doing art, or I did, and I'm not saying I don't now, but sometimes I feel like I don't lately. But it makes me think of times when I enjoyed art more, or felt like I had an idea for a piece or a comic or a drawing, and I went forth and did it, and it came out, really cool, or not exactly what I thought it was going to come out, but it still kind of came out cool. Or I was just playing around in my sketchbook and something came out, and I'm like, oh yeah, I like that. I want everything to look like that. Um, and hey, what's up, you and Bit, and anybody else watching? Hey, Clay, how you doing? Um, and it's it's just like, I'm like, what is it, that's kind of making me not like what I'm doing, and stuff like that. And I see other people, doing stuff, and I'm like, I see them doing it with passion, and sometimes they're at different skill levels, but you can see like the passion, and I'm like, am I like forgetting that part of it? What am I doing? Sometimes you have to reflect, you have to figure out what the heck you're doing, and there's a lot more to this. But one thing I was thinking about is, I've been doing art with my nephew. Sometimes I do art with my nephews. It's just it's really cute. It's awesome. Like, it's fun. Both of them are like, I want to be like Munkle. I want to be an artist, and stuff like that. And I think that's so cool. That's what they call me, Munkle. um, and it's just like, it's really cool when they show me their art, and I'm like, oh, that's so cool. And then we'll draw together, or I'll show him some stuff. I've been showing one of my nephews how to do stuff on the iPad and stuff. And he's just like, I think he's 9 years old or 8 years old. I always forget, like, the ages to me all seem the same. when they're kind of that age, when you're that age, like it's really important. But when you're, gonna be 41 soon, like I am, those ages start to blur. But he's somewhere around 6 to 9. And anyways, so he's like, oh, you can see the frustration sometimes, and you're like, you see like, oh, I can't do this, and how do you do this, Uncle? Like, and I'll show him like how to do the thing on the iPad or wherever he's drawing, um, and he'll be like, oh, that's how you do it, cool, and he'll do it, like it'll take a couple seconds, he'll do it, and he'll be like, perfect. Like he looks at his art and he's just like, perfect. Like, I mean, just sit there and think about that. Like, when was the last time you did a piece of art or a comic page or whatever, and you were just like, perfect? Who says that? Most people I know, they look at a piece of art, and if they like it for like 10 minutes, and then they're like, I suck at art. You know, a lot of people feel that way. Or they like it for a day, and then after a couple weeks they look at it and they're like, oh, I don't like it. Or they don't like it at first, and then they wake up the next day and they're like, oh, it's not so bad. And people are at different levels of satisfaction with their art and stuff. But when was the last time you finished a piece of art and you just was like, perfect, I did exactly what I wanted to do, and it looks awesome. I miss that, and another thing I think about is my art influences and stuff. And I grew up on the Image guys. Was into them before they started it. And when somebody at a comic shop told me that all of my favorite artists started their own company and they're doing their own characters, I was like, I mean, my jaw could not have dropped. I think it dropped below the ground. Like, I was just like, this is a dream come true, These guys I love so much. They made their own, what? They made their own comic company? Like, are you kidding me? Like, and all I did was go back and try to find as much of their old stuff as I could, and then I just bought everything I could find from them from Image as well, and that's what it was like. And growing up, I was like, yeah, that's like that's the pinnacle. That's the way. That's where I want to be with my art and what I want to do with my comic. I want to make my own characters. And I would make my own things, and they wouldn't be the greatest, but I'd be like, yeah, I'm like, I'm gonna do this someday, and I'd be excited about it. And as much as those pieces of art weren't necessarily skilled or weren't necessarily good, they were inspired. And I feel like I'm either so inspired, but I have no time to actually work, which makes me sick. And I'm kind of pissed that that's half the time what the problem is. And or it's time to work and I have no inspiration. It's gone. I feel like I'm just doing some things for people. I'm helping other people make their comics or whatever, and it's not like I begrudge that. I've done some work for friends and stuff and for people, and I've enjoyed that and I've learned a lot from that. And I'm going to continue to probably help my friends out, and there is a certain percentage of me that really does enjoy doing that. But there's a part of me that's like, what am I doing with my life? you know, like, where's my comic? you know, I mean, I have comics, I have little mini comics, I have little, anthology things and that stuff. And, but also, like, how come every time I sit down and draw something, I don't like it. Like, I'm not, it's not, doesn't feel, it feels like I'm uninspired. It feels like I've lost any ability to do the fundamentals sometimes. I mean, this is what I feel like sometimes. And, you know, I think sometimes it's because I'm just going through the motions and getting my 30 minutes in. And it's not, coming from a motivation to get to work, and I barely get my 30 minutes in sometimes a day, or sometimes I go a little over, but it's just like there's no rarely these long sessions of me doing artwork unless it's on the weekends. Sometimes I do, but even still, it's like I put in an hour and a half, and I'm like, oh wow, I just did a lot of work. And then I think about it, I'm like, what is that? Like Jack Kirby worked every day for, 8 hours, 15 hours, um, making page after page after page and with an almost limitless imagination. That's where I want to be. I know that I probably will never get there, but I don't care. That's where I want to be. Like, that's my goal is not to be this like half-ass artist who just freaking does a half an hour a day barely. That's not what I wanted to do, when I got into this stuff. And so again, I look at these old image guys. I'm remembering back to like what was it that made me so excited before, and now all of a sudden, like I feel like I'm at this weird place. And I think of people like Rob Liefeld, a huge inspiration for me. And these guys, I grew up, and came to the realization that the art and comic book community, those on the in the inner circle, a lot of times they'll put those guys down, especially Rob. I mean, you see, the double D size, freaking Captain America and things like that. And anybody would say, Rob, chill out, dude. Like, you gotta like do something here. Learn, take a freaking, figure drawing class or something, whatever. But I get that. At the same time, like that kind of criticism and that judgment, it's horrible. It's ridiculous. And, I'm kind of pissed. I'm pissed at myself for letting myself be like give in to that kind of judgment on myself and on other, from others. Not that other people are judging me, actively, but like hearing the judgment towards other comic artists or creators and kind of um reverse projecting it on myself. I don't know if that's a thing. And then like, you know, seeing other people do their comic process and it's just frustrating sometimes, and it's like that's not what I want to be. Like I want to be the freaking punk rock comic creator who just doesn't give a crap and does what he wants and what he loves and creates stuff with meaning and with passion, and I want to kick ass at it. And I'm like, I feel like it's literally pitiful like what I do, and I know a lot of people encourage me, and I get it, and I'm encouraged too. Like I am glad that I've created a habit of working on this for half an hour a day every single day. And it's been, over 2 years now where I've been doing that pretty darn consistently. That's great. That's awesome. That's an accomplishment. That's something that I never want to lose. But at the same time, you know, it's not enough. It's just not enough. Like it needs to be more. If I want, especially if I want to make a career out of it. But at the same time, I can't do it for career. I can't do it for money. I have to do it out of passion and out of love, or else it's not even worth it anyways. Not for me at least. If somebody wants to go and try to get a page rate and just be an excellent artist who makes beautiful pieces of art of pages, cool, great. That's not me. I want to create something. I want to, I want to make my own creations. I want to build something, it's more than just doing beautiful art on a page. That's part of it for sure. I want to do that. But it's like, I just think about self judgments and judgments from the art community as a whole, that you see, and I'm just like, screw that, screw all of them, screw my own freaking self for judging myself. Like, I don't, there's I was listening to Wu-Tang Clan today, the first album, The Mystery of Chess Boxing, and if you're a kid, a young kid, don't listen to this album. It's lots of curse words, lots of stuff that isn't for kids. But this is what I grew up on, that's like hip hop, that's like a punk rock version of hip hop. Um and I see some of the comments coming in and stuff, and you guys are awesome. I love you guys. You're freaking so cool. Like, but like, this is not me doing a pity party. This is me like just venting. This is a a rant or whatever. This is like, the thing is like, these guys, the Wu-Tang Clan, like, you could tell they just came together, and there's so much energy in that darn album. Like, there's not that much energy in any of the other Wu-Tang albums. The other ones are good too, but there's so much energy in that first album, and they had a vision, and they put that thing together with what they had. Like, it is rough around the edges all over the place, but it is passion. And they're not a lot, half the songs don't even have a lot of meaning. It's just like a brag fest. But at the same time, there is substance still within it, and just the heartbeat of it is, it's just so strong. And stuff like that is what I want to create. I want there to be substance, but I also want there to be fun. um and another thing, like, I think of other creative people out there, like, who have done amazing things. And I noticed one theme is this whole, like, kind of mantra of, like, I don't give a crap. They use another word that I don't tend to use. And I hear it in, like, early Eminem albums and stuff, and early, like, whatever, like, just usually the first album of anybody. Almost, it's like this attitude is like, I don't care what the industry is telling me, I don't care what my mom is telling me, I don't care what freaking all my friends and family are telling me. I'm making this thing, I'm doing it, and I'm gonna make it work. And I'm gonna use whatever I have to do whatever I can and freaking kick butt. And that's what I want to do. I don't care about having the best anatomy or the best freaking fundamentals of comics. I'm not out to make, the Mona Lisa of freaking comics. Like, I'm out to freaking just make comics. I'm out to make comics that have meaning and have energy and are just awesome, and that people enjoy and people get something from. And I'm just sick of the judgment from myself, and the judgment from others on other people. And I feel like this judgment is a plague, like, on in general, throughout the community, and stuff. And it's frustrating because I have I see a lot of people, and I got so much respect for all my friends and everybody doing this stuff. Like, the AAA creators, it's such an awesome community on the Discord. Like, you guys got to check it out. Like, such an encouraging group. But, like, I kind of came up with this goofy thing, like, you seen the title, like, Marsh goes AWOL, and I was thinking, like, you know the title of this is like make art without judgment. I'm like, oh, there's like a cool little thing you could do with that. And it was like, so what does that spell? And it doesn't spell much, but I was like, what if that last letter was L? So like art without what, judgment? What if it was L, like art without litigation? We'll just go with litigation. Which is silly. But it's like art without, like, getting into the legalism of the BS that stops you from making your comic. Like, so go AWOL. Don't do what everybody tells you to do. Do what you have. Like, I just did a video with Jeff Lafferty about, do you have the guts to follow your calling? And it's like, follow your freaking calling. What the thing you have a vision for, that's what you need to do. And I'm so sick of myself and others not getting their vision out. Like, I know we have more of a vision than what we're putting out there. Like, I mean, I've seen so many people, within industry, whatever, who they have this comic that they're working on, and they've been working on for years, or they have this idea of a comic or whatever, and they talk about it, and they do things, they do all this stuff, and the comic just never comes out. And this is me too. I'm talking to myself, like, how long have I been talking about Glyph, and all I've gotten out was a few measly, like, little mini comics? Like, I have a million other ideas too that have just been brewing, and it's like I put this on the back burner and I work on this, and then I put this on the back burner, and I everything can't be on the back burner forever, and I'm not gonna make a career out of things being on the back burner. Like, this is ridiculous. And I'm sick of not seeing other people's awesome vision that they have. I believe in the vision. I'm into the vision that I see that they're putting forth, and I don't see the comic, you know? It's like, how long do I have to wait? 10 years? 11, 20? Like, can we get the comic out in this decade, please? Like, we have a new decade. Like, let's go. Like, it's ridiculous, you know? And, I'm not talking to any of you. Like, this isn't like me thinking of you specifically, whoever any of these people are. Like, this is just me in general, like, being frustrated, with myself, and being frustrated because I see that this judgment, this self judgment, like, plagues other people, Um, when you go down and you sit down to like work on your comic, and in your ear you hear things like, you're not good enough, or like, I mean, that's the obvious one, but like, you know, I hear things in my ear like, do, you know, you shouldn't do digital comics, you should do traditional or something, or, this way of doing something isn't the proper way to do it, or like, you know, you're doing your comic and you did your panels, but the design is flawed. You didn't do your thumbnails and the anatomy is screwed up. Like, screw you, like, freaking comic book, like, I don't know, this like judgmental like thing of like, I get it. It's an art form. It is a craft. You have to respect the craft. You have to try to become a better artist. But like, how long are you gonna keep trying to become a better artist before you actually make a comic? Like, make a comic and then put it out there in the world, and then make another one and put that out in the world. I see Peter from the Discord is in here, and it's like, there's something he said recently that, like, it was like, I kind of feel like I'll be good by the time I've done my 10th comic or something like that. There was something to that effect. And I'm like, and then, I do finish a comic, and it kind of resets, and it's like, I'll be good after I do, once I get to the next 10th comic or whatever. And it's like, it's so true. Like, we kind of, you know, push ourselves. It's good to push yourself, like, and get better. Like, that's awesome, but produce comics along the way to get there. You're not going to get good at making comics until you make comics. And I've been criticized sometimes for doing this like publish or perish thing. And the thing is the more I think about it, the more I still agree with that. Like, you if you haven't published anything, you don't exist within the publishing world. It just, that's, you exist as a person. You're worthwhile and worthy as a person. You're awesome. You probably have an awesome vision, but like, if you don't make comics, you're not a comic artist. If you don't publish, you're not in the publishing world. Like, it's just logic. That's all that is. But it's like, and I say this, I literally am not saying this to anybody. I'm saying this like to myself, like, I need to get comics out. I need to get the vision that I have, and not just like a piece of the vision or a part. I mean, you see, that goes to the thing of like judging yourself, but like, I want to get good comics out, but I'm not going to ever get to good if I don't just, I mean, I haven't published my first comic yet. Like, my first full, like, actual comic. Like, mini comics are actual comics. I'm not trying to invalidate that. Like, I plan on making much more mini comics and stuff. But I want to also produce like an actual comic, like the ones I have been buying in the comic shop for my whole life. Um, I feel like I should have done that by now, and I've had people come to me and hit me up and be like, Marsh, like, when are you gonna, like, actually, like, put out a full comic? Like, I had one person actually do that, and, you know, I was I didn't feel bad about that. I was like, "Yeah, you're right. Why haven't I?" Like, it's so true. Like, I need to, like, do this, and I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with this. All I know is that, like, to me, you know, I can't let the judgment stop me, I have to make the thing I want to make, like, and I have to, like, if you don't think that the anatomy's good, or you don't think like this part is good, or the coloring, or I didn't do a good color scheme, or like, I didn't follow this rule or that rule, like, I'm sorry, like, I can't be, legalized into like a corner with that, you know what I mean? We just we have to make what we can make with what we have, with the abilities that we have right now, and do it, and that's why I freaking love the AAA creators, like that. Like, it's funny that, like, I kind of created this Discord, and it's more than a me, it's a community now. It's not even just me at all, like, and so many of the people in there are doing exactly what I'm saying right now. Like, they are like making comics, and they don't care what people think of it. Like, those guys are inspiring me, guys and gals. Like, I see what they're doing, and I'm just like, yes, do that. And I'm trying to catch up. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, you guys are rocking it. And like, all my AAA creators, like, let's go AWOL, let's kind of just show people, like, that's why I made this challenge, like, the make who's gonna make the most comics in 2020, like, that it's let's just make more comics. I bet by the end of the year, a lot of us will be a lot better, because we haven't freaked out about, oh, I can't make my first comic because I haven't figured out how to put the bicep in the right place on the forearm, or on the forearm. See, I'm already messing up anatomy just in the way I talk. Like, I'm not putting like the muscles in the right place. Screw that. Like, freaking make your damn comic. Make sure the anatomy's bad on purpose. Like, what about that? Make a bad anatomy comic on purpose. Like, and make it the most dynamic comic that has ever been seen. And, like, entertain the crap out of people. And then, some dude's gonna be like, oh, hey, look, your anatomy, you put the forearm muscles on the forehead. Like, what's wrong with you? Like, I don't know. Like, just make your stupid comic. Make your awesome comic, I should say, and make more comics. And by the time you're done making more comics, you're gonna be so far ahead of where you were like a year ago. Like, it's gonna be awesome. And so, I don't know. That's all I'm saying. I'm just kind of ranting about this a little bit, because the judgment is silly. And when I hang out with my nephew, and you know we're drawing and stuff, and he makes like a little, like, figure, you know a stick figure, like, character of one of his favorite, like, cartoons or whatever, and he just looks at it and he's like, that is so awesome, like, and he can't wait to show me, and I'm like, that is so awesome, like, and he's like, perfect, like, who says perfect to what they just made, like. I just showed him one little trick, and it was funny. He was like, oh, he showed me a picture of something he wanted to do, and he's like, oh, can you show me how to do that? And I'm like, oh yeah, sure. Let me show you what 2-point perspective is. It's really simple, actually. He's like, no, no, I just want to know how to make those clouds up there. And I'm like, oh, well, you just do this little painting thing, and then you use the smudge tool, and he's like, yes, that's exactly it. Perfect. Like, awesome. Like, he was so excited about that. And it's just like, I didn't even really show him anything, but okay, like, that I I want to make childlike comics, not childish. I want to make good comics, but I want to make comics with that childlike enthusiasm and that ability to not judge myself, and just do it because I love it, and that's where I'm at. That's where I want to be, and I want to find that passion again. I was creating like that, but for some reason I feel like I got off the rails, and into things, and just got frustrated, and I felt like I'm not excited to draw sometimes, and I don't want to feel like that, because what's the point? You know, if you're not wanting to, if you're not enjoying what you're doing, like, I'm sorry, but art as a career is not a good path if you're not gonna enjoy it. Like, it's hard, it's challenging, you know? And not that everybody's trying to do a career, like, but just why make art if there's not passion and love behind it? And if the rules are holding you back every minute, you know. So anyways, I'm a little bit over on my lunch break. I got to go back to work, but thanks for watching. I'm gonna go through the comments after the fact and take a look, because I know you guys have been putting some cool comments in there, and you guys all rock. Check out the Discord, the AAA creators Discord. I got to put the link in the description because the links are all kind of screwed up in this video, but if you look back at the old videos, the correct links are there, like even the one before this or whatever. So other than that, thanks everybody for watching. You guys rock, and make some comics, and don't let anything stop you, you know. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Peace out.